I want to ask the question today, does all Black lives matter? In past years, we saw various demonstrations on social media, and we heard the slogan, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter became a movement that was speaking and protesting against police brutality here in America and the unjust killing and maiming and arresting of Blacks, especially African American male. Many people joined in that march. Many people joined in that campaign. But today I want to really explore and ask the question, at least from the position of that organization, because it later became an official organization, is that organization the embodiment of Black lives that matter, or was it just a political propaganda espousing a specific political agenda? Yesterday, I posted a video by Yityish Aynaw, who is former Miss Israel, public personality, spokesperson, and model in Israel. And she came out and spoke out about Black Lives Matter and their posting of a terrorist, Hamas terrorist, who is descending upon Israel in what seems to be not a parachute, but suspended through the air. And on it, it says, "We support Palestine." And she speaks out against it because in her commentary, she notes that when America was protesting the injustices and talked about the I can't breathe, in the slogan, I can't breathe, the world in large part supported the injustices that were being portrayed and perpetrated against African American male here in the United States. She addressed the fact that she too joined in that campaign, and now it is their turn. And she goes on to say they can't breathe, that because of terrorism and the terrorist attack that brutally murdered hundreds of people in a concert and dragged women and children and babies from their home, slaughtered them mercilessly, have abducted and raped them and tortured them. You see pictures of babies in caves, that now they are the ones that can't breathe. And Black Lives Matter from Chicago and other areas continue to put out the statement on behalf of the organization that they support Palestine. I felt the need to address this because that has always been my concern with the Black Lives Matters movement, that in some ways it's really not about Black people. It's about advancing a political agenda. Because as she noted, and I will share with you pictures of my visit to Israel, she shared, there are Black people in Israel. And as you can see here, I'm in a picture with an IDF soldier who is Black, whose complexion looked like my own. When you look at her skin, she looks like me. And here you see other pictures of me taken at the Western Wall with other Israelis who look just like myself and look like many of us here in America who are, by definition, Black. So why is it okay that we can support the Black lives of some people and not support the Black lives of all people? And so this is the question. Hamas came in as a terrorist organization. Hamas is still a terrorist organization that is hiding behind the Palestinian people. In many ways, the Palestinians have allowed Hamas to hide behind them and their identity as a group of people because they democratically elected Hamas to be their leader and in many ways continue to support Hamas. So it is unfortunate that in this war against terror, many innocent lives in Palestine will be lost, but in many ways, they brought it upon themselves by choosing terrorists to be their government and their representative. But then does that excuse this organization that is touted to the world that Black Lives Matter and that it is here to support Black lives, why now is it not supporting the Black lives that are in Israel? When I visited Israel, there were Hebrew Israelites in Israel that are living there. And in fact, they are located in the Negev desert, very, very close to Gaza. Many of them were killed. And then you see Black lives, like I said, among the IDF soldiers, many of whom are Ethiopians. And there are many Ethiopians. And as you will hear me speak and continue to speak, here in the Americas, many of the slaves that have come through the slave trade are Igbos. Igbos are Hebrews. We are Jewish people or of Jewish ancestry. So for many of us who are Black here in America, we are of the descendants of Jacob. We are one of the 12. For the Igbos here in America who hail from Nigeria through the slave trade, we are Israel. We are one of the sons or the descendants of one of Jacob's sons. So in many ways, they are our brothers. When you look at the ancestry of the Jewish people, I understand in the news that many of the faces you see are from Western Europe and the Americas and Russia. But there are many Jewish people, Sephardic Jews and indigenous to the region, that are of color and look like myself and many others. And like I said, the Igbos of the Caribbean and of the United States, we are people of color. Do our Black lives matter? And are we among those people who are supporting Palestinians? If you say you are a Christian and you are a Bible-believing Christian, then your Messiah is also of Jewish ancestry. And so, not to belabor the point, but I simply want to make the point. Black lives matter, but does it really matter to the organization Black Lives Matter? Because from their position and their posting about their support of Palestinian, it's very obvious that they don't support all Black lives. Because as stated by this Miss Israel, the Black lives that are in Israel, that are in the IDF, that have lost their lives, does not seem to be a point of interest to this organization. For the Black lives here in America who are of Hebrew ancestry because of their Igbo ancestry and are of Jewish, evidently their Black lives do not matter. If it comes to an issue of choice here in the Americas and they discover that we are of Hebrew ancestry, will they stand against us too? This is an interesting question. As the political debate continues, these are things that we need to understand when we continue to support propaganda, that behind a lot of these slogans and propaganda is a political agenda. And it may be one that is diametrically opposed to our existence as to who we are. I myself identify as Igbo because of my ancestry. My parents are both Jamaican. My father is part Jewish. My mom was of Igbo ancestry. I presently am a Messianic Jew, and I identify with Israel, and I stand with Israel, because Israel is the homeland of my Messiah. He will return one day to the Mount of Olives. He will return to rule and reign from the city of Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is God's holy city. I am a person of color. I am a Black life. Does my Black life matter to Black Lives Matter? If you support the Palestinians, my answer to that question is no. Because to destroy the land of Israel is to destroy their right to be there, that right that was given some 3,000 to 4,000 years ago to Abraham, and that is passed down through the generations to our people. It is a land I lay claim to. It is a land many people claim to, be it through their Jewish ancestry or those who are Christians and understand the significance of the nation of Israel, because it is a part of our Bible and what we hope to be the return of our Messiah as he rules and reigns on this earth. For many who say they are Black lives that matter, are you a Christian? Do you understand the political implication of what you're saying and how it goes against the word of God and the belief that Jesus Christ is a Jew, was a Jew, and will return as a Jew, and that he himself was a man of color when he lived on this earth and will return as a man of color, because Jewishness is not a race. But since we live in a world that is polarized and we want to make everything black and white, I ask you that question. Does all Black lives matter?